Check it out. So this is a certificate of completion from the Art Students League of New York, and this signifies 4 full years of non-stop, 22 hours a week of oil painting, watercolors, acrylics. I took a detour in mixed media. I took a detour in sculpture and comics, light drawing, all of it, all of the art school stuff in order to get this one certificate. And I learned a lot of things during that time. So much actually that I can't actually sum it up in one video, but I thought it'd be a fun thing to try. So out of all the things that I learned in art school, what is the one thing that I take away from it, that aha moment, that eureka moment? Let me sum it up in one stroke after we roll the credits. So. What is up, guys? Andrew here, and welcome to Comic Booker. All things comics from a creator. So in this video, I'm gonna sum up the most important moment I took away from art school. And actually, it's very clear, like, what this insight is. My biggest takeaway from those 4 years is that there are 2 major modes of drawing. There's drawing from observation, and there's drawing from memory. In observational drawing, you're working off of retinal information. Basically, drawing from what you see. And that means all the information is already there. You're just making reductions, simplifying what you see. Now, reductions can be as tight or as loose as you want. There's a whole spectrum of it. You can go from hyperreal to full-on abstraction. But either way, you're working off of observation, and all of that feeds into the way you're drawing. Now, here, anatomy, color theory, proportion, triangulation, all these techniques are helpful for reduction. This is mostly what I was taught in art school. And there's a lot of academic literature around it. You can deep dive into any one topic forever, like, say, anatomy, which, you know, there are people who are just anatomists for life, and that can be all your focus forever. What I wasn't taught much of in art school was drawing from the imagination. And drawing from the imagination is basically the same as drawing from memory. When working from memory, you're starting with 0 retinal information. So you're coming at your drawing from the other side of the equation. If it starts with 0, how do we get information into that drawing? 2 words: visual library. This is a library of lines, shapes, colors, and imagery that's in your memory. When we draw a stick figure from memory, we're expressing a rough idea of a very complex thing that's already in our head. This is why comic artists tend to draw stick figures and gestures when they're laying things out or doing thumbnails or basically just working out the story. Because even though it's rough, it's the fastest way to get the information down. And once it's down, you can build it up with even more info. How hands work, how the skeletal system works, what part connects to which, how the light is falling, all that stuff. You can really build it up. In observational drawing, you start at 100% of information, and then you get it down to maybe like an artful 50%. When drawing from memory, you start at 0% information, and you build it up to an artful 50%. Coming at it from either end, you can make really beautiful art. Putting it together, though, that's where the magic really happens. See, I mentioned the visual library earlier. When we watch an artist like Kim Joong-gi draw from memory, from imagination, and believe me, I've seen him draw live. He's the real deal. Kim Joong-gi can remember details that most of us would struggle to remember, like the way the threads of the shoes are patterned, or the exact anatomy of a goat or a tiger. If a normal person's visual library is like a little bookcase, like a bedside bookcase with maybe 50 books, right? Kim Joong-gi's visual library seems to be like the Library of Alexandria, just massive shelves upon shelves of reference that he can pull out from his mind castle or memory palace. But circling back around, if you wanted to draw like Kim Joong-gi, the best way to beef up your visual library so that it gets as strong as his, I think it's observational drawing. When we look at things closely, in order to understand how they work, how to break them down into lines and colors and shapes, we're actively absorbing them into our brains, turning them into memories. And then if you turn around after observational drawing and then flip it, so that you are drawing from a memory or imagination, drawing things without reference, then you're reinforcing that visual library, making it easier to reference and pull out and work with at a moment's notice. So, to sum things up, drawing from reference and drawing from the imagination. And really, if you want to be a great artist, I think the secret is really to exercise both. Figure out what you're practicing more of, what you're practicing less of, and just combine the two, you know, draw from memory, draw from observation, flip back and forth, make yourself a super artist that way. So there's a lot more I want to talk about with this topic. Honestly, it's so huge that, you know, I could go on for much longer, but I wanted to keep this into like a short little video. That's the one big master stroke of things that I learned from the last 4 years of art school. Hopefully I saved you some time and money, and you can now go into your arts practice armed with all this information. And if you're new to this channel, check out some of my other videos. I do videos on comics, I do drawing videos, some art tips, a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, do check it out. And all likes, comments, subscribes, all that YouTube stuff, super appreciated. Until next time, peace. It's a new camera that I'm trying to learn. Yeah. Someone's walking again. Can you hear that? I have to pause like every so often for that. Anyway. Okay, done for the day. This is it. This is the take.